and welcome to this week's Talking Ads. We are joined by another guest. This is Luke. Alex, do you want to do the...
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we, back in the day when it was just me, Nick and Jess, we rented some desks in Riselabs office where Luke works. That was, God, over a year and a half ago probably.
Yeah, it's pushing 18 months, I think.
So yeah, it was in the building downstairs, and it was a good few months where we worked together. It was pretty cool, and then we all went off in our own separate ways, and we've ended up here. Obviously, we still get to see Luke, but not as often, so I don't annoy you as much potentially. As I used to. Yeah. So Luke's got yeah, a little bit. Not you though. I think it was more. Yeah, there was a lot of chitter chatter, which. So we won't go into, but it was good fun anyway. So Luke's got some ads. Tom's on paternity, sort of on paternity leave. He lives about an hour away, and his wife's due to give birth any minute, so he's working from home. We tried to get him on Skype, and we weren't very good at that. So yeah, ready to rock and roll.
Cool. So first, would you want to do like a little like teaser of what your ads are?
Okay, yeah, no problem. I'm a big user of Instagram more than anything. Use it mainly for social stuff, and most of the stuff I see on my feed is usually related to music or football. But generally, being in software development, we've got a real interest in apps. We love the way that apps work, and we use absolutely hundreds of web and mobile-based apps. Hundreds, probably an exaggeration. To basically improve what we do. So I thought, what a nice thing to do would be kind of go down the app route. So I've seen 3 adverts on Instagram for mobile apps that you can use, and I thought let's just compare apps. They've all landed in my feed, so they weren't too hard to pluck out. And I thought let's do a cross comparison of 3 different adverts for 3 different apps that are trying to appeal to me in very different ways.
And I think I've definitely seen 2 out of the 3.
Yeah, I've also seen one of them
in my feed as well. And I forgot to mention when I was going to do Luke's intro that I think Riselabs would have got the coolest name and logo in the whole of Peterborough, if not the world.
Thank you. My colleague Jack would be honoured.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love that. And I've never asked you this. Does the name have anything to do with Batman: The Dark Knight Rises? And please say yes.
Yes.
Does it really?
Absolutely not. No.
Oh man.
We've come up with a few potential stories of how the synergy works and how the name Riselabs came about, but ultimately,
cool.
My colleague Jack really likes airships, and labs is a nice thing to stick on the end of a tech company's name.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
We were helping businesses sort of rise through being more productive at what they did. Awesome. So as sort of technology consultants, we said we'll just help you really sort of lift what you're doing and ramp it up and fly from there really. So that all sounds kind of cheesy, so we've left the slogans in
well, I was thinking of some sort of Batman campaign.
I'm going Batman. I think we'll have a little rebrand on the marketing slogans, and we'll leave that to you.
The white balloon rises.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, excellent. So let's talk about ads rather than cheesy names. Right, so yeah, I've definitely seen this one before. I don't know if it's a variation of it, so I'll just run it. Yeah,
so it's this one's basically it's speaking to people who, I'm assuming, from my opinion, they're people who are aspirational CEOs/directors. They want to set up their own company, and what I really liked about this ad, this is one I actually like quite a lot. I've actually gone and got the app now, so I'm on a monthly subscription, so it obviously worked for me. The idea is, the first opening gambit is the top CEOs read 60 books a year. Now, if you were trying to be a top CEO, reading over a book a week, so you've got 52 weeks in a calendar year, it might seem out of reach for a lot of people. There's a lot of things that need to juggle. But because there's several video slides that run through quite quickly, it basically says, you're a top CEO, you read 60 books, and actually this is completely attainable because the text and language you see on the slides that follow it just basically says it's completely achievable. So it links, for me, the language links being a top CEO to financial success, which I'm assuming most people who are aspirational CEOs want 2 things mainly, which is freedom and cash, and maybe that cash to really sort of continue to be free, because we all need money, don't we, really? So first thing it's saying is, everybody is that's in this camp is reading 60 books. You instantly think, well, it's unattainable for me. I can't do that. Can't manage it. Next thing it says is 88% of people who are doing this have got loads of money in the bank. Then the next thing it says is people who use our app read basically get the information of 6 books worth of material per month. So for me, I instantly crunched the numbers and thought 6 times 12 is whatever it is, quite a lot. It's probably more than 60. I think 72.
On my mental arithmetic,
I've never been hired
at
never been hired at any company because of maths. I'm not good with numbers. I'm good at other stuff.
Yeah.
But I like the way that worked because it said if you use our app, it's suggesting that you are going to get the information from more than 60 books worth of material a year. It's not even said what these books are at this point. It's not showing the app, but it's basically said you're part of this elite club. And in many ways, because the CEOs are reading 60 books a year, and you can read more if you keep up the average of the subscriber of that app, you're in a situation where for me, it's a bit of gamification going on, because it's saying, well, you're going to read 72, so you're better than the CEOs, you know?
Yeah.
For me, that inspires me to go, yeah, right. And then the last slide, which is, it's got to be about 12 seconds into the video, says, these are all digestible within 15 minutes. So you say, right, I can take 6 audiobook snippets per month, times it by 15. Suddenly, I've only got to have 90 minutes aside to be able to engage with what I need to engage with to be a top super rich CEO. I've not seen the app, I've not seen any of that stuff during the advert, but the way that it works visually and the way that it's really quick makes me think, yeah, that's going to work fine. And you don't need to listen to anything, even though it's a video, because that kind of winds me up. If you're selling a product on things like Instagram and you unmute it, the sound of some of these adverts can be absolutely horrendous. This one just runs silently, whether you've got audio or not, and it kind of illustrates the point really, really quickly.
Absolutely.
So join the elite club of readers that are basically intrinsically linked to being rich and running a great company. So that's why I enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it goes for me.
No, absolutely. I think it's a big thing. Like everyone says, like leaders are readers.
Yeah.
There's like a whole thing about that. And then I don't know where the figures come from that the average CEO reads.
Yeah.
So that means there's some that read a lot more, and there's some obviously that read a lot less, and there's some that they don't survey. But yeah, no, I know people like Bill Gates reads a horrendous amount of books, and it is definitely that idea of like knowledge and learning from other people's failures and things like that is a big thing. I don't know why I've not downloaded it or bought it, because every time I see it, I think, 20 minutes to just get that idea of a book is a great idea. So I don't know what's stopping me from doing it. How are you finding it? Have you used it?
I actually got it a couple of nights ago. As an Android user, the Google Pixel, you've got to get a little connection in the headphone port to be able to plug your headphones in. Now, I leave that at home a lot, so I've not yet done it. But on the web app, what you can do is look through all the books and then add them to your library. Yeah. And I use the laptop more than anything. It's going to be mainly for car journeys for me. But I'm aiming, if you're doing six a month, I'm aiming to just go, let's just do 10.
Yeah,
and just if I'm a genius in 2019 and it's gone all right and it was worth a 70 quid subscription, so we'll find out.
Is that how much it is, 70 quid?
It's quite clever there, because it says top CEOs read 60 books a year. As soon as you go on it, you're given the yearly sum, and you have to really dig through to get to the monthly thing. Right. So actually, the monthly figure's about £13, £14. So actually, I've started on the monthly because I don't have cash to burn yet.
No, absolutely. It's interesting. It's like you always use Netflix as with subscriptions. I think use that as you compare it again. Because I immediately thought, that's twice the amount of Netflix. I always compare it for any subscription with that for some reason. The price point's interesting. I don't know whether I would, but then there's like meditation apps and stuff like that for a tenner, which I don't really know.
Yeah, it really does.
But I suppose, and if you think how much I'd spend on the books, as well,
and you can just get them straight from there as well. You can buy them if you really like it. Get the extended version, the proper book, straight from Kindle. Right. You can do that straight from the app, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm keen to try it, and then it's not too expensive. Cool, and like just going back to the ad, it's like you say, they're not selling. I wonder whether they've tried specific books and said you could read this in 15 minutes. Like as an ad variation.
I mean, if I was a keen gardener, it'd be nice to see that there might be some kind of horticultural book or whatever.
Or if you're following like someone like Gary Vaynerchuk or someone like that, and it's like you could crush it in 15 minutes or something like that. That'd be quite good.
And maybe that's where this has come from. The fact that I'm following Gary V and everybody else. Maybe that's why it's gone.
Yeah, potentially.
This guy wants it.
Potentially. Yeah, I'd say so. there are a number of different ways to target you there. But yeah, cool.
Should we go with mine?
Yeah.
So mine isn't shock horror. Isn't from Instagram. This one I saw on YouTube, just on like the top right. And I don't really understand it. Like I've screenshotted it, like, and I think it's interesting, but I don't know why. So I wonder what like you both think.
Well, I smiled when I saw it, but I also don't get it.
Yeah, this is my thing. Like I really liked it, but then I was kind of thinking, okay, well, what can I say about it? And I'm thinking, well, I don't actually know what
were
they're trying.
What were you on YouTube watching? Was it something to do with grammar or Grammarly or something? Because you've got Grammarly installed.
Yes.
And then if you were looking up how to spell, and then they're saying spelling is ducking.
Because I always do that. Like if I need to know how to like pronounce or kind of like the context of a word, like I will look at it.
Yeah.
But maybe that's what, I don't know.
But then you wouldn't look on YouTube for that, would you? No.
You just Google that, wouldn't you?
I think it was just a song. Must have been just that I was listening to music, and then it was just there. But I do obviously research a lot of spelling things, so I don't know if that's got anything to do with.
They are on, like, 3 have got like a new campaign. I think it's 3 at the moment on TV, where it's like there's a load of thumbs and something about how great people saying phones are rubbish, but then they could. Oh, I can't remember what it is. I'm sure there's moments in
prop to do great stuff.
Is there moments in history where if they had a phone, it would have made it better or something? I can't remember. But there is some sort of TV campaign at the moment. But I don't remember that being associated with it.
No.
But it's just a branding exercise of making you laugh and seeing the logo and just associating that light side.
But obviously, what are they trying to? Are they just trying to promote them?
Phone history. So it is that phone history thing. Phones are good. So it is linked to that current campaign they're doing.
Right. Okay.
Where the phone helps you to spell. Okay.
Yeah.
So right.
Yeah, maybe.
Because maybe that's part of the TV. There was a thing about spelling in it, but then obviously it has not worked. Because I've definitely seen the TV ad a couple of times, and I've not associated that duck.
I wouldn't say phones necessarily help you to spell that well either.
No,
because still get the odd family text where you think that's hieroglyphs.
It's like the opposite, isn't it?
Yeah.
So a bit of an odd one.
Yeah. Also, I didn't think how it was laid out. It looks a bit messy.
But all over the place.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something to do with the template of. I don't know whether they're just given this that region at the top, that sort of banner space, and then the logo has to go there. So it's maybe overkill on whacking the logo there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a bit sort of all over the place. But does that matter though if it makes you laugh?
No, I suppose.
And then you see that 3 as they're trying to position themselves a bit different to everyone else. I'm not sure.
I think using the rubber duck, I think that's what made me look. Because I don't normally look. I literally just click on a song, click on YouTube. So it's kind of like I made me look up there. So it's obviously kind of it has worked.
Yeah.
But I just don't. Yeah, I didn't really understand why I liked it, but I just did.
I think with a lot of the big brands like this, it is just pure branding rather than trying to sell phones. It is just pure branding. So, like the call to action would not be obvious because it is purely associating their brand with positivity or humour or whatever it is they're trying to.
It's like the Coca-Cola thing with I can't remember who it was with now, but a few weeks ago.
Yeah. And
we said the same thing. They don't actually probably need the custom, but it's just kind of like they're just trying to shed themselves in like a positive light. So.
Defo.
Yeah, it worked.
Cool. It did make me smile though and laugh when I saw it. 100%. So we've got another one from Luke. Let's see. We're pulling them out at random. So I think this is the palm reading. One. So I'll just bring that over.
I'm going to try and be fair to this. Just because I'm not necessarily interested in palm reading doesn't mean that I should be having a go at an advert if it's a good one for palm reading. But the beginning of this one's another video as well on Instagram. The first thing it does is it's got a divide of 2 people's hands with sort of rich and poor against it, and I thought, well, maybe the rich versus poor in terms of telling your future might be a bit laboured and a bit tired. It's obviously a generalised thing, and the fact that I've received this advert in the first place suggests that they might be pushing it to all sorts of people. It might not be necessarily funneling down into these sort of clever niches. But the first problem I instantly saw was I see rich versus poor in 2 hands. and I'm obviously going to see if my handset's rich anyway.
Yeah.
The idea is to stimulate that kind of engagement, and that sounds like it's going to work because you've done that. And there's even if it does appear a little bit crude in my opinion, I've looked at it. I've seen both of the lines for rich and poor, which sounds about right at the minute. But then by the time I've finished looking and working that out, I've gone back to the phone. I've definitely missed one of the next video screens.
Yeah.
So I was worried then if I missed kind of one of the calls to action. It just didn't make a lot of sense to me there. So I had to wait for the advert to cycle round again. And what I saw next was the rich versus poor thing again, and then it goes on to show you in a different way to the other app. It shows you what the app looks like. This comes from an angle of somebody that's involved in building and testing apps, but it showed you absolutely everything that this app seems to do. And I suppose we're talking about adverts at this point rather than the actual app itself, but they've chosen to show you what the user interface looks like for the app. And really, really text heavy.
Yeah.
When they tell you about your horoscope or they tell you about what your riches or your love life's going to be like, we've got a solid block of text there. Now that might be actually okay when you're looking at the phone and you're looking at individual bits of information, but the problem was it's given me one of the sort of horoscopes truth-telling things here in a middle partition, but we've also got two other things that were going on here in the periphery where a user was sort of scrolling here and scrolling there. And I was seeing basically everything the app could ever do all on one screen. I had absolutely no idea. And because of the placement of the rich versus poor as well, I actually couldn't on my phone look at what was going on in the caption either. So I had to scroll up and down, and it's just, and then sort of a low res find out now or find out how. I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to be too unkind on an advert that's talking about palm reading techniques if it's just because it's not my bag, but I just felt that there was things that could have been, there's things that were missed there that could have worked differently to the next ad that I'm going to talk about, where it's got that kind of carousel thing on Instagram. I think that could have been a winner, where it's saying this thing can tell you your future by looking at your hand. That sounds kind of cool. This is how it works. 1, 2, 3. You could have a series of simple steps that would just give you that kind of context of how it works, instead of just been given absolutely everything. And there's I don't know.
There's no mystery or anything. Like
no, there's like intriguing kind of like, what is it? Like, I'd want to sign up to the app to see, because when you see that you're like, oh, I don't actually like it.
And add to the intrigue and the mystery with some kind of mysterious soundtrack. But as soon as I had to listen to that, I thought this has gotten these are a complete mismatch. That's what I thought anyway. But so I struggled with that one.
No sort of mystery, like what else could you find out or something like that? Could you find out like something about your love life or whatever it?
What if rich or poor isn't for me? I mean, that doesn't that doesn't bother me in the slightest. Maybe they could have done that and tested it with sort of different things at the top. But I understand why they're trying to cater to the rich poor thing, because that's going to pique somebody's interest. Of course it is, but there's loads of other things you might want to know about, and rich or poor isn't really one of mine. I've got a pretty good idea of where I'm now, where I'm going to be. That's. I
mean, that annoys me because
that's my destiny, really.
I was going to say I feel I'm in control of my destiny, not what's on my hands.
So well, just go to bed then, do nothing.
Exactly.
It's all mapped out.
But and then like you say, from an advertising perspective, there wasn't anything else, anything exciting about it. Just showing you everything. Well, you want to download the app to go and see everything, don't you? And I've got no interest in it as well, so it's hard to sort of gauge, critique it, because I would just ignore it because it's not my bag at all.
I usually would have just gone straight past it, to be honest.
No, it's not. I mean, it's not my bag either, but it intrigues me, the whole healing thing. I mean, when I talk to people who are like really into it, it does really intrigue me. And I think that I have seen other ones that are a lot better in terms of the way they like pitch it to you. But kind of like the whole, I don't believe in the whole horoscope thing. I literally think it's a load of rubbish. So like when I see that, I'm like, I would, again, someone who kind of, I don't know, I could be tempted like into it. I would just be like, no, because there's just, I don't like too much text. And I think you said it, like, there's just so much text. You don't know where to look. You don't know like what to be looking at first. I mean, us Aquarians hate it. We hate text. So, I don't like, especially on an Instagram ad, because obviously it's an image platform, isn't it? Essentially. So,
So what I found out today, Luke, is that we are the 2 people on the planet that have got Google Pixel phones, and we're both Aquarius.
Get in.
We're very similar. I don't know anyone else that's got a Google Pixel.
Massive fan. Pixel 2.
I'm ordering the 3, mate. I'm
Yeah.
ordering the 3. It's just coming out.
I like the new update they've got where it allows you to set timers against apps for how long you can use them,
Cool.
which was really, really important for me, sort of getting offline. So
Yeah.
that's going to be clever.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
To be honest, I've not looked into the features too much. I know I've got the Pixel 1. I love that. And I assume the 2 was better, and the 3 is even better. So I'm just assuming that I'm going to.
Only
like
criticism is mine's warped ever so slightly.
Oh, is it?
I don't know how that's happened.
They had that with the one of the iPhones,
Yeah.
didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Cool. Wow. So my ad is a carousel, but I've had to do screenshots to give it to you. But this is kind of like the first time I've seen people do it in like a story. So if you see like the one that's like listen up, hackers are after your personal information. So it's actually swiping it. It's a story, and then I've also got stock images of this guy, but it kind of works really well. I think I liked it from an advertising perspective rather than the product. So I had no interest in the product, but I was intrigued that this kind of story and this kind of idea of rather than just having all the features on each carousel image, that it's telling me a story as I go along, and it's one of very few carousel ads that I found myself going through, and this is on LinkedIn, I think. And it was, a bit cheeky with the guy, who's quite amusing.
Yeah.
So yeah, just we've talked about carousel a lot, but I've never seen anyone else do this type of thing with it, which I liked. What do you guys think?
I thought it was Claude Thingy from The Apprentice.
Oh, did you?
When I saw it from afar, I was like, oh, it's him, but then it's not. But no, I like it. I think the image makes it, definitely. I think without him, it wouldn't. I don't think it would work.
No, absolutely. It is funny. It's a little bit cheesy, isn't it? It's not quite too cheesy. It's rubbish, but
He's
yeah.
like the stern uncle that you must respect and listen to.
yeah, exactly. They've gone.
So if he told you to clean your room as a kid, you'd be cleaning it.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm listening up as a result. So.
So yeah, I thought it was good. Yeah, they got the right person for the right product, and done something a little bit different with that, telling the story as I swipe along, sort of thing. So yeah, just thought it was quite clever. It's quite cool. I like it when people do something a bit different rather than just someone just saying, look, get an ad out to talk about all our features and products and stuff.
Yeah. I think it's common to overcomplicate things, especially like these days with everything you can do with something.
Yeah.
People want to do it all, and then this is a kind of example of actually sometimes less is more a lot of the time.
Absolutely.
I think this is a perfect example of that, definitely.
That does have the intrigue that the last app doesn't have, because Listen Up it's succinct enough for you to go, one next to me in cyber or whatever.
Like that,
yeah, you're thinking, well, I don't know what's on the next screen. I'm going to click because it's not going to take me any more than half a second to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And you might as well go through the whole carousel at that point.
Yeah.
If you've managed to get to the second one, generally, I think you'll carry on, won't you? So.
Yeah, and because it is a story as well, although maybe they could have put ... on the end of each one, so it was more of like there's more to come sort of thing. But I found myself naturally reading through. Whereas obviously they could have just put all the text at the top, but maybe I wouldn't have read it if it wasn't because of the flicking through. So yeah, quite like that idea. Really good.
Cool. Luke will go for your final one.
Okay, so another Instagram one and a carousel one for my sins, so apologies everybody. This one I decided to look at because it's money management, and I'm being pitched to at the moment by a number of different advertisers that have got money management type apps going on. Interesting really, because I haven't got this one yet as an app. I've not tried it, but the first comment underneath just said, "This is poor, don't get it." But I thought actually this is an interesting approach, because I think obviously I said 10 minutes ago I'm not really a numbers guy, so money management makes sense for somebody like me, because what you've got in the caption is "Unthink Money." That's the first thing it says after the company name, and "Unthink Money" is also the last text piece on the carousel as well.
Okay.
So "Unthink Money" it's appealing to a part of my brain that doesn't have to think too much.
Yeah.
I think you've said reptilian before. That's basically that straight away. wow, is this app going to stop me thinking about money? It's just going to centralise absolutely everything I want. Fantastic, let's do this. The other money management ones I've seen, I think it's the likes of Plum and that kind of thing. They've decided to go down the angle of it being pitched by a real person, sort of walking down the street saying, John saved £600 by doing this, that and the other. And that kind of works, but also I'm thinking, how on earth has this man managed to save £600? He must be on a pretty hefty salary to just suddenly save £600 a month when you couldn't save before. I'm not sure if the suggestion is that, you know, John wasn't saving £600 in the first place and he was on kind of £5 a month. But I thought anybody sort of downloading a money management app probably doesn't save much money, and they've gone, all right, let's go for this. But what I liked about this one was, if I'm somebody who's going to get this kind of app, I've already made the decision, probably passively, I need to sort the situation out. I need to save some money for my holiday to wherever I'm going. And I just want to know that this thing's going to be easy to use. It's just going to save the money for me. So each screen has got visuals of the app and different parts of the app that you would kind of expect to see there. It's not being too clever, but it's just saying this is what you're going to get. And it's the fact that it's tied into the Unthink money that gets you. And there's little clever bits there, like your list of utilities. It has got Netflix in there in the drop down. It's got Spotify, so you kind of go, yeah, that's me. Of course this app's for me because I'm that kind of person. And I think it's already catering to a certain marketplace. It's quite assumptive that you're the kind of person who can use an app and would be able to sort of smash in all your details about what you spend your money on a weekly basis. And this one's obviously gone down a different angle to the Blinkist thing, because it's showing you loads of stuff to do with the app. But it's not showing you too much with all this text-heavy stuff. It's kind of nice, bright colours. There's some primary stuff going on. It's attractive enough, but it's still passive. It doesn't have that sort of sound going off in the background. So it's kind of the thing that somebody in their 20s or 30s might just download on a whim while they're looking through Instagram. So I think they've got it right for that kind of marketplace. I'm not sure it would work in the same way on Facebook. They've probably gone down a different route for their ad. But for Instagram, it's absolutely perfect because, well, in my opinion, because them little animated GIFs and stuff like that, they do enough to kind of get your attention for me.
Absolutely.
And it's just quite easy for me to go through, and I just like the pretty green thing. That's kind of
so I don't think I've seen many people use GIFs on a carousel before, off the top of my head.
No,
because because I think we haven't recorded the slides because it looks almost like a video.
Is there like another one too?
Yes,
there's five of them. So
that's my fault. Sorry, I didn't know that.
They've just all got different small features. So one of them will just be sort of that's your overview breakdown. The next one will be your utilities. The next one will be how much money you've saved. You know. And
I think I wonder whether because this I've seen a few of these, and Yolt is the one that I remember as well. And I wonder if people prioritise time over money in the same way that We Buy Any Car at the moment are saying, you're not going to get as much money, but it's going to save you a lot of time. That's their big thing at the moment, saving you time rather than money. And that other one you mentioned was all about saving money, but this one's kind of a bit more about saving time, really. And I wonder if that's just making it easier rather than assuming you're going to save loads of money. I wonder if people are more interested in it's just going to make my life easier.
It's the fact they haven't got a figure against it, whereas some of the competitors do have the figure. They've gone, here's the cash figure you might expect, based upon they've obviously painted a picture of who I'll keep saying John. I don't know what his name was. It might have been a woman called Sarah actually, but it's trying to give context of that person as a human being, whereas this one isn't going down that monetary route. So probably it is kind of it is going down that time route. And if it's an advert, we can just install the app straight away, then get going. Stop thinking about money. Just literally, this app will sort it out for you, and you'll realise you spend too much every single week. Yeah,
absolutely. You actually don't.
Pretty much.
It's not going to be happy reading.
No.
Cool.
Really good.
Yeah, that's it for this week's episode. Again, another guest next week.
We have got another guest, our most famous guest. So Khadija, who is on The Apprentice at the moment, will be coming in next Wednesday, breaking the illusion that she's with Lord Sugar at the moment. I don't know if that's contractually going to cause problems or not. But yeah, she'll be here next week. She's got an office in this building as well, so we knew her before. She was on The Apprentice. I think she's smashing at the moment. She was project manager last week and won. Yeah, very opinionated. So I'm really excited to see what sort of ads she brings with us. And then obviously we were meant to have Mark on last week. We were meant to do a TV ad special. So we are rebooking Mark in as well. And then we've also got Jessica, who's the second person we ever employed, and she is training up on ads and stuff at the moment. She's going to come on soon as well. So we've got loads of people lined up.
Cool. Thanks to Luke for coming on as well. And yeah, see you next week.
Yes. Oh, sorry, we haven't really done a shout out for Riselabs. We talked about this awesome logo, and we haven't said what the the web address is. So where can people find you guys, and who would kind of be the right sort of people that? I know you do a lot of apps and stuff. Who would be the right sort of, or who do you help most often?
We are largely technology consultants for growing businesses. So SMEs that usually are less than 15 years old kind of understand how beneficial things like cloud software and having the right technology can be, but they're just in a situation where they can't implement that themselves. They can't see the wood for the tree. So we'll just kind of handhold the process, map out where they need to be, and then build the things that support them with that, whether it's connecting things together or building websites, web apps, web platforms, or mobile apps, that kind of thing.
Cool. And what's the website?
It's riselabs.co.uk.
Riselabs.co.uk. Cool. All right, thank you, mate. It was an absolute pleasure having you on.